as ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle. In a major story, President Goodluck Jonathan formally receives members of Nigeria's female soccer team, the Super Falcons, in Abuja. Also in this program, activist lawyer Festus Keyamo petitioned security agencies over alleged death threat from former Niger Delta militant leader Government Ekpomu Polu, otherwise known as Don Polu. Despite inability to pick a presidential nomination form of the People's Democratic Party, Abdullah Lee Tafawa Balewa says he is not prepared to give up hope of challenging President Jonathan for the party's ticket. Outside Nigeria, the World Health Organization announces a decline in the spread of Ebola in Liberia, the country hardest hit in the outbreak. And now the details. President Goodluck Jonathan has formally received members of Nigeria's female soccer team, the Super Falcons, in Abuja. He commended the girls for their exploits at the just concluded African Women Championship in Namibia, especially in the face of the NFF crisis. The brief meeting took place at the council chambers of the presidential villa shortly before the Federal Executive Council meeting. The report.
These are the victorious Super Falcons who have given Nigerians yet another reason to smile in recent times. The girls put up a laudable display at the just concluded African Women's Championship in Namibia for a record 7th title. And as a mark of honor, they were received at the council chamber by President Goodluck Jonathan after a formal presentation by the sports minister.
Over the years, we have been dominating female football in Africa. But between 2010 and 2012, we wobbled and lost it. But due to your tenacity and your support, we have been able to reassert and reclaim our status as the undisputed champions in female football in Africa.
The girls were then commended for their show of patriotism and discipline.
We've made the country proud. We're indeed happy. The male teams have been doing very well, but sometimes because of certain internal crises, we tend to slide behind. But the female teams have been doing wonderfully well, as presented by the National Secretary. We didn't expect that you win, but still, that you won the gold for this country is remarkable. On behalf of the good people of this great country, Nigeria, we thank you for this your commitment, because it requires discipline to achieve these heights.
Team captain expressed gratitude for the honor bestowed on them.
Having gotten back with the trophy, we are being honored and we are being appreciated. We just want to say a very big thank you to the president for this kind gesture.
The Super Falcons have continued to prove their mettle in African football, winning 7 out of the 9 championships so far. But analysts expect that the same exploit will be evident at the world stage.
that is that moment where you feel proud to be a woman. Activist lawyer Festus Keyamo has petitioned the security agencies over a death threat from former Niger Delta militant leader, Government Ekpomu Polo, otherwise known as Tom Polo. The lawyer said in his petition that the threat was delivered through a phone call at about 10:13 on Tuesday night from a number he recognized as belonging to Tom Polo. Keyamo claimed that the ex-militant leader said he would either be beaten to death or shot for daring to take up a matter involving his brother. He noted that Tom Polo added that no one has ever challenged his authority without suffering the consequences. The activist lawyer said even though Niger Delta Governor Emmanuel Uduaga promised to talk to Tom Polo, he didn't see it as enough assurance of safety, hence the need for the petition. President Goodluck Jonathan is to back up his interest in a second term in office by collecting the nomination form of the People's Democratic Party on Thursday. Presidential spokesman Ruben Abati disclosed this at a news conference in Abuja. He also revealed PDP governors, transformation ambassadors of Nigeria, and a number of individuals and groups contributed over 98 million naira to enable Jonathan pay the required 22 million naira for the form.
Groups and communities who have sent donations and made pledges to assist him to pay the required 22 million naira for the PDP presidential nomination fee and expression of interest form. He acknowledges and accepts with immense gratitude the following donations and pledges that he has received from a broad spectrum of Nigerians. Mr. Kennedy Ikenna Odueme, 5,000 naira. Mr. Ezemagu Sunday Nnamdi, 10,000 naira. PDP governors, 22 million naira. Gombe Youth Vanguard for PDP, 500,000 naira. Yamahu Deba Goodluck Support Group, 200,000 naira. Coalition of Gombe Support Groups for Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, 2 million naira. Hina Youth Coalition for Goodluck, 500,000 naira. Nigerian Women Pray for Jonathan, 1 million naira. National Association of Widows, 100,000 naira. National Council of Women's Societies, 500,000 naira. Female members of the PDP Board of Trustees, 500,000 naira. Joint Association of Persons with Disabilities, 100,000 naira. National Association of Market Women, 500,000 naira. Community Awareness and Development Network, 1 million naira. He assures the donors that he will continue to do his utmost best at all times to fully justify the great confidence they have placed in his leadership.
In spite of his inability to pick up the presidential nomination form of the People's Democratic Party, Abdul Jalil Tafawa Balewa is not prepared to give up hope of challenging President Jonathan for the party's ticket. He told journalists at the party's national secretariat that he would be back to collect the form since he has paid the required amount into the PDP account.
To see the secretary. I went to see the organizing secretary also, and they said the form was not ready. I'm a party person, so I don't want to put any doubts in thinking that maybe, you know, the presidential form isn't ready. We have so many gubernatorial forms and so many people picking those up. There are very few of us, just the president and I, as far as I know. So why two forms will not be ready is a little bit worrisome. I have paid for my forms. This is it. I was, however, told that they don't have the forms ready. No matter, I am still here. I will send some of my people here on Thursday to come and pick the forms up.
A coalition of 13 civil groups have presented governorship form of the People's Democratic Party to Adamawa State Governor Bala Ngilari. Speaking on behalf of the groups, a former secretary to the state government, Moses Ngbale, says the people of the state contributed the money for the funds to drive the campaign of the governor ahead the 2015 governorship election.
More than 13 different groups contributed well over 150 million naira, out of which we took 11 million to buy this. Contributions will come. We'll contest this thing without, you will contest without us reverting to you for anything by the grace of God. We want to wish you well and we want to wish you the best of luck. I give you this thing with the prayer that God, in His infinite mercies, will give you favor and support for the people of Adamawa.
Amen. Nglari accepted the form and promised to continue consultations before making his intention formal. He, however, added that the voice of the people is invariably the voice of God.
I've accepted these forms that you have given me. I'm praying, I'm consulting. Basically, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Yes. The facts you have enumerated are absolutely correct in terms of the fact that I was going for the senatorial election. But having listened to you, this is not about me, about anybody. It's about the good people of Adamawa. Give me time, I'll consult prayerfully, help me pray, so that at the end of it all, it is not my decision, it is not anybody's decision, but the collective decision of the people of Adamawa.
Nglari had earlier picked a nomination form for the senatorial seat of Adamawa North Senatorial Zone. Speaker Adamawa House of Assembly Amadu Fintiri and 7 other governorship aspirants in the state have ganged up against Governor James Nglari ahead the 2015 governorship election. They said the governor must not be allowed to contest the governorship primary of the party in the state. The 8 aspirants on Wednesday stormed the national secretariat of the party, insisting that the zoning arrangement earlier reached with them by the party must be kept. Apart from Fintiri, those who also visited the party to register their grievances were a former political aide to President Goodluck Jonathan, Ahmed Gulak, son of a former PDP national chairman, Awal Tukur, and former Minister of Health, Idi Hung. Others are James Barka, Aliyu Kama, Marcos Gundiri, and Abubakar Gurei. A former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nuhu Ribadu, who was part of the team with whom the agreement was made, was not present. It will be recalled that the party and the governorship aspirants who voluntarily withdrew from the PDP primaries last September had agreed for the governorship position to be zoned to Adamawa Central District. In Adamawa politics, of all the senatorial zones, North, South and Central, it is the Central that is yet to produce a governor. APC formally welcomed Speaker of the House of Representatives Aminu Tambuwal to its fold. Join us for more after this timeout. Don't go away.
This needs precision. Yes! Got to get her home before her curfew. My dad! Uh-oh, got to get her home fast. If we cut across 3 streets in 3 minutes and speed across the market in 2, should make it to the Can we make it? If we take the stairs at 30 seconds per flight, we just might. Yes! Made it in time. Mission accomplished. Get everyday energy fast with Lucozade Boost.
I no longer worry about deodorant stains with Nivea Invisible for black and white deodorant. No white marks on black and no yellow stains on white. My black stays black and white stays white longer. And I stay 48 hours protected. New Invisible for black and white deodorant from Nivea.
Also available, Nivea Men Invisible for black and white deodorant from Nivea Men.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thank you for being there. It's the CoreTV Primetime News. And here is a reminder of the stories that made our headlines. President Goodluck Jonathan formally receives members of Nigeria's female soccer team, the Super Falcons, in Abuja. Activist lawyer Festus Keyamo petitioned security agencies over alleged death threat from former Niger Delta militant leader Diamond Polo, otherwise known as Tampolo. Despite inability to pick up presidential nomination from the People's Democratic Party, Abdul Tafawa says he's not prepared to give up hope of challenging President Jonathan for the party's ticket. And for more news and other information, you can reach us on a social media platform. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter @CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then News. The national leadership of the All Progressives Congress has formally received the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, as a party member. Party Chairman John Odighi Oyegu presented the party's the nation's number 4 citizen to the party delegates at the extraordinary convention in Abuja. He also handed over the symbol of the APC to the Speaker, who on Tuesday defected from the People's Democratic Party. Speaking after his presentation to the party members, Tambuwal expressed hope that the PDP would be swept out of power at the center in 2015. The defection of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, to the All Progressives Congress has not ceased to generate reactions. In Osun State, diverse opinions by party officials of the two major parties, the PDP and APC, have trailed the defection. Rashid filed in this report.
Lastly, sir, there has been reports around of you dumping PDP today. When are you declaring your presidential ambition under the APC?
That is not part of this interview.
That was the one of the many questions asked Tambuwal when speculation was rife about his intention to defect. However, the rest they say now is history. The ripple effect of Tambuwal's defection is now a subject in political circle, as members of the PDP and APC in Osun State have taken expected positions on the development.
Tambuwal should be manly enough and should be honorable enough to resign not only the speakership of the House of Representatives, he must have to vacate his seat as a member representing the Tambuwal Federal Constituency of Sokoto State in the Federal House of Representatives.
Can only go to court and declare his office vacant. They can't do that on their own. The law does not give them such a power. You can't use police to arrest him. It's not a criminal offense. You can't just speak. You can't use a political fiat and tell him vacate your office. You have to go to court. Let the court pronounce it so.
The party stalwarts, who are also lawyers, give different interpretation of the law on Tambuwal's defection from the PDP to the APC.
The only proviso is that the only opportunity that can be available for that to happen is when there's a division. And I tell you, PDP remain one rock-solid, indissoluble family, the largest political party in Africa.
You can defect under certain conditions when there's a division in your party, when there's a crisis in your party. And everybody knows that today, PDP is a crisis-ridden party, crisis-ridden. And that crisis has shaken it to its roots at the national level. So, for anybody to say there's no crisis in PDP today, it might be blind.
For Wale Folaranmi, a civil activist, the defection of the speaker is for the progress of the national cause.
The way the number 4 citizen has been conducting himself at the National Assembly, I mean, particularly the House of Representatives, has been very nationalistic. I think his deflection must have been informed by a very nationalistic issue that, well, it means well for Nigeria.
So what are the overall implications of Tambuwal's action for the polity?
We had seen this thing coming long before now. It's unfortunate. He has beaten the finger that fed him. Therefore, there must be a fresh election. We are waiting, and the game has just started.
The highest of it is the defection of the speaker. That's the first time in Nigerian history. It is sending a signal to the PDP, to Jonathan, that they have to vacate. He's sending a signal to them that his time is over.
It portends good dynamics to a progressive, from a conservative party to a progressive party. It's good signal that 2015 we're going to have a very interesting political play out.
The move, which has been tacitly described by some political observers as a clever one, considering its timing and the subsequent adjournment of plenary, is bound to result in more drama ahead the 2015 general elections. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
A constitutional lawyer, Fred Agbaji, has said that the defection of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, though constitutional, is the outcome of an intention nursed over a period of time. This, he added, should not have come as a surprise to Nigerians and warned that more interesting drama abounds ahead.
Section 109 of the Constitution is very clear. You cannot. If you are elected on one political platform, you've got to remain in that party, at least for the duration or for the tenure you were elected. If the election was for 4 years and you are elected for 4 years under the platform of political aid, you cannot, under the Constitution, defer to another party. But the same Constitution has provided a leeway, and that leeway is what the politicians are not taking advantage of. One of the requirements, or one of the factors stated in the Constitution for you, or which has aided the defection these days, is the fact that if the former party that sponsored your election for a period of 4 years, there is now an internal turmoil in that party, or that party can no longer answer its own father's name. In other words, that party has disintegrated. Let me use the word of the Constitution, the phrase used in the Constitution. If that party that sponsored you has now been fractionalized before your tenure ends, and you don't even know which of the factions of the parties you now belong. So in a situation like that, you can constitutionally defect. The only is on you to establish that the party that sponsors you has now been fractionalized, and therefore you don't know which of the political party as a result of the fractionalization that you should belong. So the Constitution allows you to defect. The question now is, has PDP been fractionalized? I'm not a member of PDP, I'm not a member of this, I'm not a member of any other political party. If it is true that the party that sponsored him, sponsored Tambuwal, is now in tatters, it has been fractionalized, there's evidence, so Tambuwal is perfectly correct.
He He also advised that the ongoing process on constitution amendment should provide for a clause that will make defection difficult for the contemporary
amendment to the constitution as relating only to matter of personal aggrandizement of the members of the National Assembly. It's how to permanent themselves in the house, how to come back to the house. Those are the amendments they have succeeded in putting to the constitution. The amendment that will guarantee and deepen democracy are not even in place.
The agitation to bring more women into mainstream politics and decision-making in Nigeria was again brought to the fore at a program with the theme Women's Participation in Governance Ahead 2015 Election. The event was organized in Lagos by the Women Arise for Change Initiative. Olajumoke Olatunji has more.
Women participation in Nigerian politics at the grassroots has become an issue of great concern, following belief in some quarters that Nigerian women have been relegated politically to the background. There are documented evidence around the world over the importance of women population and their contributions to societal development. According to the 1991 census in Nigeria, women account for about 50% of the population, but they are underdeveloped and underrepresented in politics. Factors identified in extant literature as essential determinants of women participation include social and political relationships in a given society, male domination, political parties and culture of formal political structures. It is against this background that the Women Arise for Change Initiative organized the forum to push for more women participation in governance and decision-making, especially as the countdown to the 2015 general elections gather momentum.
What is the essence of the position of the woman leader? Do you have a budget in your political party? How many women leaders here have a budget? If you want something, you either go to the party chair or the secretary or whoever has a budget. So, ab initio, your position is nothing. They have made sure that you cannot perform in that position. That is the point. And unfortunately, that is the only position that political parties assure women. It's the only position. That is their own affirmative action for women. Therefore, why must you create a position that has no power? The only power they give women leaders is to campaign for them, mobilize women for them.
President of Women Arise for Change Initiative, Joe Okeodomaki, calls for an equal representation of women as the 2015 elections draw closer and urged all women not to be deceived by the antics of the politicians.
It's a gradual thing that will gather momentum, and in gathering such momentum, women themselves are the ones who should take the bold and viable step in ensuring that they can also compare, contest, interact, and make more meaningful impact in terms of politics.
It is generally believed that women suffer mishap due to lack of representation and imbalances in the leadership scheme. While the rest of the world has been progressive in women's participation, especially in governance, Nigeria is still lagging behind, and the rest of the world is still waiting to see if 2015 will be a watershed year that will usher in a new Nigeria. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The United States has promised to assist Nigeria achieve a peaceful, transparent, and acceptable election in 2015. U.S. Deputy Secretary for African Affairs Robert Jackson disclosed this when he paid a courtesy call on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega. Responding to the pledge for assistance, the INEC chairman assured the Americans of free and credible elections next year.
Transparent and credible elections here in Nigeria. We are committed to working with the Commission, with the political parties, with government, civil society, with all the actors involved in the election process to assist Nigeria to have elections that build upon the progress that we've seen in previous years, and we look forward to having an exchange about some of the issues that you are facing over the next months until February.
We know that you have a very busy schedule,
But the fact that you have included us in that busy schedule really encourages us and makes us greatly appreciative of your concern and understanding and encouragement.
President Goodluck Jonathan has condoled with Zambians on the death of President Michael Zata in a London hospital. In sympathizing with Zambians, the president described Zata as a nationalist who will be remembered for his uncompromising stance against neocolonialism. Presidential spokesman Ruben Abati said in a statement that the president also urged the people of the East African country to commit themselves to peaceful secession in line with constitutional provisions. We'll take another break and return with business, sports, and other stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
One continent, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages, but united with similar interests. As news breaks, we give you in-depth analysis around Africa every Monday on CoreTV News.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And now to business. The Chairman Senate Committee on Environment and Ecology, Senator Bukola Saraki on Wednesday says $78 oil benchmark proposed by the federal government for the implementation of the 2015 budget was unrealistic. The Senate Joint Committees on Finance and National Planning, currently working on the workability of the oil benchmark, had yet to propose a fixed amount, Saraki says. President Goodluck Jonathan had earlier submitted the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal paper which contains the oil benchmark to the upper house, but Saraki, who scrutinized the document, asked the federal government to give full disclosure of the nation's economy. He said the nation's revenue base is caving in under the stress of falling oil price in the international market. He identified crude oil theft and continuing payment of subsidy on kerosene just to enrich some private pockets as part of the problems affecting the nation's revenue base. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC Secretary General Abdullah El-Badri today says market conditions did not justify sharp falls for crude futures and signaled that OPEC would maintain output through next year. The OPEC Secretary General made the statement while addressing the Oil and Money Conference, an annual event in the energy sector. Prices rose solidly on Wednesday. For producers, lower oil prices reduced revenues, including the 12 member countries that make up OPEC, while the cheaper costs benefit consumers and industries which use oil and gas products. OPEC will decide on whether to alter its output levels at a meeting in Vienna on November 27th. The organization has an output ceiling of 30 million barrels per day, while it pumped out 30.47 million barrels daily in September, according to the data provided by the cartel. Meanwhile, he acknowledged that higher prices would be welcomed by both producers and consumers, adding that OPEC did not have a specific price tag. The trade volume between Nigeria and China in the last 7 months hit a record of 1.7 trillion naira. This was set by the Consul General of the People's Republic of China, Liu Kan, in Lagos today. The trade volume between the two countries rose by 42.8% to $10.3 billion, the highest in history, according to the statistics of Chinese custom. The value of exports from Nigeria to China increased by 147.5% to $1.9 billion. Liu has continued to restate that his government is committed to promoting bilateral relations with Nigeria. The World Bank has rated Nigeria 170 among 189 countries in terms of ease of doing business across the world. It also noted in a new report that Singapore is the best country in the world to do business, while Mauritius comes top in Africa. Nigeria's ranking for 2015 is slightly better than its 175 rating of 2014 out of 189 countries in the survey. But for the first time, the World Bank report analyzed business regulations in Kano as well as Lagos in order to provide new insights into the variability of business regulation in the country. The annual World Bank Doing Business reports analysis regulations that apply to an economy's businesses during their life cycle, including startup and operations, but does not measure all aspects of business environment that matter to firms and investors. Equity transactions on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Wednesday ended on a negative note. The all-share index dipped by 0.36% to close at 38,148.18 basis points. Market capitalization decreased in closes in the same manner at 12.63 trillion naira. In all, a total of 377.73 million shares valued at 4.1 billion naira were exchanged in 4,408 deals. Report shows that CAP topped the gainers chart, followed by WAPCO, Ashaka Cement, Nigerian Breweries, and Diamond Bank. On the downside, Cadbury topped the losers chart, followed by Forte Oil, Guinness, Stanbic, and CCNN. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. And now to the world of sports. Sports Minister Tammy Danagugu says he will never obey any court order that is not explicitly served on him. Amid accusations of disobeying a court order after appearing in public with Amaju Pinnick. Danagugu was to travel to Windhoek with Pinnick for the Africa Women Championship final before the latter was stopped from making the trip by security operatives. The sports minister was with Pinnick in Lagos when the Falcons arrived in Nigeria with the AWC trophy, and Pinnick received the team as the NFF president, an event which has led to accusations of Danagugu disobeying court orders. But Danagugu has defended his actions, saying he will never obey a court order that wasn't served on him. NFF factions led by Chris Giwa and Amadou Pinnick held a closed-door meeting with the sports minister in his office on Tuesday. Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti has played down the extent of Wolves winger Gareth Bale's injury. 25-year-old Bale has not featured in Real's last 3 games, including the El Clasico win over Barcelona. He has been suffering with a gluteal leg muscle injury and will not play in Wednesday's Copa del Rey tie against Cornella. Ancelotti has said of the Welshman's situation that it is a small injury. The former Tottenham player was an unused substitute in Real's 5-0 win over Levante after playing in Wales Euro 2016 qualifiers against Bosnia-Herzegovina and Cyprus. Andy Murray believes a vast improvement in his mental attitude has helped his recent turnaround in form and moved him to within touching distance of making next month's ATP World Tour finals. The British #1 is currently 5th in the race to London and is again knocking on the door of the top 3 after a thrilling run, which has seen him win tournaments in Shenzhen, Vienna and Valencia, all in the space of a month. The 2-time Grand Slam winner saved 5 match points for the second time in less than a month to defeat Spaniard Tommy Robredo in the longest final of the year on Sunday. Murray now needs to reach the quarterfinals at the week's Paris Masters to guarantee a 7th straight appearance at the season-ending final. And now to other stories outside Nigeria. The World Health Organization says there's been a decline in the spread of Ebola in Liberia, the country hardest hit in the outbreak. The WHO's Bruce Aylward said it was confident the response to the virus was now gaining the upper hand. He, however, warned against any suggestion that the crisis was over. He said the new number of cases globally was 13,703 and that the death toll to be published later would probably pass 5,000. The figure of 13,703 is a significant leap on the previous WHO situation report last Saturday, which showed cases rising above 10,000 for the first time to 10,141. But Ward, the WHO's Assistant Director General, said that this increase was due to data being updated with old cases rather than new cases being reported. Saturday's situation reports put the death toll at 4,922. Liberia's Red Cross said its team collected 117 bodies last week, down from a high number of 315 in September. Treatment centers also have empty beds available for patients. Aylward said there had been a huge effort to inform the population about the disease to change the behaviors that put them at risk. And just before we close the show tonight, here is a wrap-up of the stories that made our headlines. We told you that President Goodluck Jonathan has formally received members of Nigeria's female soccer team, the Super Falcons, in Abuja. We also brought you reports that activist lawyer Festus Keyamo has petitioned security agencies over alleged death threat from former Niger Delta militant leader, Government Ekpomubolu, otherwise known as Tom Polo. Lastly, despite inability to pick a presidential nomination from of the People's Democratic Party, Abdul Jalil Tafawa Balewa said he is not prepared to give up hope of challenging President Jonathan for the party's ticket. And that's been the show tonight. On behalf of our entire news crew, I am Ebunlomo Adekunle. Have a wonderful night rest.